All right. Now we got take two now with audio. I hope. I'm listening to my on my phone to see if it comes through. Checking. All right, we're in business. So I just said a bunch of things. Um, doesn't really matter. It's just some intro banter. I am your one screen wonder. I guess that's important. That's where it led to. I have like 10 screens around my house and property. They just keep leaving my computer room for other purposes. And I just realized right now I have two in my garage that I don't even use. And one 43 inch that was it was in my bedroom, but it had a huge line down the center of it like it broke. I took it out to the garage. It works perfectly now, so I don't want to move that again. I have one in my I have like a studio room out back. I have a man cave and a she shed out back. Yes, the she shed is pink. And that's where I store my stained glass now. So my screens keep going missing. Not missing, they get commandeered. So we're to jump back in to what I tried to talk about earlier, which was tough and I didn't get to it. So part of this talk, I want to get to know Flare, because man, I completely don't understand it. When they talk about it, when Hugo Filion talks about it, I'm like, okay, that sounds great. That sounds really great. You could wrap my XRP and do some weird stuff to it, and then I could stake it and make yield and interest, and then after that, I get a staked XRP, STXRP, and I could take and lend that out for even more yield. Yes, please. And but it's above my pay grade, man. I don't understand it. And they're saying the reason Flare like 1.0 works, or the first phase of Flare, which the second phase is coming out in April, we're hearing, which will be a lot of different, be able to wrap other coins. But right now it's just XRP because they could utilize the escrow. You could utilize XRP's Ripple's escrow account. So I'm like, okay. So somehow, and I'm sure they understand this, I just don't. So they could access XRP's escrow account through its core vault where Flare Network and Firelight, which is a part of Flare, store everybody's XRP, so then you could mint your FXRP, because that's what you have to do. You have to mint it yourself. You have to actually create the FXRP on Flare Network with your own XRP. And the core vault makes sense, I think, to where that's the liquidity pool, which is going to jump us in. The liquidity pool part is going to jump us back into treasuries. But I'm still trying to figure out how the XRP escrow is accessed through the core vault. Because if the core vault is all of our pooled XRP in a multi signature, and secure with time release, what does that do with the escrow? Well, the XRP escrow is also a liquidity pool that is time released. So is the core vault, is that actually the escrow XRP Ripple's escrow liquidity pool? Is that another name for it? Is it the same thing? And Flare is just actually, so all of our XRP that we want to mint FXRP with, is that actually going into the escrow account that just has a different name because Flare's accessing it? See, I don't understand this. Because the core vault does exactly what the XRP escrow account does. So the more I'm learning about this, the more I don't understand it. But so a key feature, well, a couple key features: the multi-sig, the timed lockout. You could only access it at certain times, like a bank vault. Um, but the liquidity pool, what they call an over collateralized liquidity pool, that has a lot in common with crypto treasuries, which, is it a crypto treasury? Let's define it. A collection of digital assets held and managed by an organization, financial reserves, and strategic investments. Key characters: potential appreciation. Okay. Yes. Diversification and yield generation. Well, the banks are trying to kill this right now. That will not succeed. Enhanced security, yes. Regulatory operational complexity. Okay. Okay. So I did one tab of research. XRP escrow is a treasury. Core Vault is a treasury. And you see every that you just saw, it was GameStop, Tesla, all of them, they're starting treasuries as well. I think X, formerly Twitter, is going to be making some big announcements lately or coming up. And so, just one last thing about this: the Core Vault and the XRP escrow seem to be doing exactly the same thing, are defined the same way, and do the same thing. So the Flare network uses its core vault to access XRP escrow, which XRP escrow is locked up in a multi-sig time locked thing. So how can it use it? Agents can refresh their minting capacity without needing new capital, enabling scalable FXRP minting and supporting broader DeFi adoption. Okay, now I'm even more confused. So it's scalable, which is what we're looking for when right now, I guess if you're listening to this, you found the niche. You went down tons of rabbit holes to get to where I'm at. Like 95% of the people in the planet have no clue what I'm talking about. The top 5%, like me, are trying to figure out what's going on, and we have no clue, but at least we're trying to figure it out. The top 1% know and are building it. So software and Flare networks, this collateral can be used to mint more XRP to be allocated elsewhere. So by locking XRP in escrow, okay. Shit. This is the big problem with researching live. The Core Vault is an XRP escrow account, but it's not Ripple's escrow account. Okay, maybe I'm getting some understanding. When Hugo Filion was talking about XRP escrow, he was talking about the Core Vault, nothing to do with Ripple's escrow account. Okay, so these aren't two things. The XRP escrow is just describing this, and has nothing to do with Ripple's official escrow account. All right, well, let me talk about that real quick, just to show you where I was confused, which I guess nobody else was, maybe. See if they talk about it. Okay. So this is what I thought he was talking about. I thought he was saying that Flare's Core Vault accesses Ripple's XRP escrow, which would be weird and impossible and confuse the hell out of me. So it's not talking about that. But just to be all inclusive, Ripple, who made XRP, has their own escrow account, which is time lock mechanism designed to manage and release XRP into circulation in a predictable manner. About 1 billion a month. Unlocks, drops 1 billion XRP, but then they put a lot of that back into Oh, there it is. Up to 1 billion a month can be released each month. Spread across multiple escrow contracts. That's interesting. Escrow operates through native escrow accounts on the XRP ledger. Because what I think is they're going to have these multiple escrow contracts. Nobody could hold more than 20% of. Oh, Ripple keeps around 20% of that and use it on the. Okay, about 20%. Sorry, nobody could have more than 20% of a single coin. So they're going to have to distribute this escrow to other places. Smelling a weird smell. 1 second. It was nothing. So here we are. So Ripple's escrow system is enforced by the XRP ledger's consensus mechanism. That's important. The ledgers have to agree. It's not centralized. It's not one bank telling you what's happening without showing you the ledger. Everyone on the XRP ledger or on the network has a ledger, has a copy. So Ripple cannot access or accelerate the release of escrowed XRP early unless the predefined conditions. Let's see, I want to dive deep into that to see if there are any other predefined conditions. If that's it, come on, baby. The escrow accounts are labeled as Ripple X. Oh, so they're each like bullets. They're each in their own account. Boom, boom, boom. So through 2027, that's interesting. So the escrow is going to be released 1 billion a month through 2027. And okay. And they do cycle back some of the escrow back into the some of the released XRP back into the escrow. Oh, cool. So, okay. Well, I got one little thing in my head I learned. Flare uses its own escrow account, which it calls the core vault. There we go. I got clarity on one little thing that maybe most people weren't confused about, which is fine. So, Flare, I think I have a feeling it's cutting edge. It's going to use the Genius Act to get truly decentralized yield and interest and staking to the people. And yeah, so I really believe it's there. So I'm trying my best to understand it. I'm watching videos on it. I'm doing videos on it, asking questions. I'm just not there yet, man. I think it's so data intensive use cases. Data intensive, like world global finance. So, what I'm trying to do, okay, that's cool. Learn that. Learn something about that. So now we know what treasuries are, and every like, let's just say it, every corporation, every country, a lot of individuals are starting LLCs and holding companies to build treasuries. Evernorth is unique in its focus on XRP as a primary treasury asset and its active management approach. No comparison to MCGA. Well, MCGA is unique for its focus on CRO as its primary treasury asset and its active management approach, distinguishing it from passive ETFs. So they're very similar, it's just a different asset. I'd say almost identical. They're both SPACs currently until they close. So they were Armada Acquisition Corp. MCGA was Yorkville Acquisition Corp. 1 billion in capital, 1 billion in capital for MCGA. XRP on the open market. MCGA did that per share through institutional lending, liquidity provision, and DeFi yield strategies. MCGA did that. So they're basically identical, but with no comparison according to the internet. They're identical. So this is going to be the ticker. I want to see if it's around $10. What, baby? What do you need? I can't help you right now. baby. Changed this ticker on October 30th, 2025. So it already changed. When was MCGA? August? So these things are exactly the same. Yeah. Same thing, same thing, same thing with MCGA. But they're using XRP. I guess what I want to know is what's the importance of the CRO Treasury? Because they spent $1 billion in CRO, already purchased 19% of the supply. Because you can't have, I think it's over 20, maybe it's 20 or more, because they're going to buy something else. So that's actually weird. I just thought of something. MCGA cannot hold any more CRO. You could only hold 19%. But when they go live, when the business combination closes, they get a line of credit of $5 billion more dollars. They can't buy any more CRO with that. Dang it, that's another question. So according to the Clarity Act, or nope, the Genius Act, each treasury or entity, I don't know how they define it, can only hold 20%. Oh wait, stable coin issuers. Okay. Just curious. So does not explicitly require what? Okay. That was the stablecoin bill. Huh. I saw it in another one of my videos. And you see it's moving over from crypto. Now we're calling it digital asset. Okay. Specifically, a key provision in the discussion. No person or group or persons under common control can beneficially own in an aggregate 20% or more of the total amount of units of a digital commodity, or 20% or more. So 19%. Okay. Okay. So 20 or more, bad. 19%. Uh, how much did MCGA buy of CRO? 19%. So MCGA was setting up for the Clarity Act. So with that, this little piece of information, that this Clarity Act of 2025, safeguard and better proposals. All right, I'll have to look into that more. Maybe they were writing it 47. Isn't it 33363 or something like that? Okay, so there's something here that I'm missing. Um, so it's about governance and the blockchain system with regulatory scrutiny. Baby, I can't help you. So 20% or more. So the most you could have is 19%. Oh my God. Which is how much of the total CRO supply? Wait, I don't think CRO has a total supply. Okay, they won't tell me. I got to figure it out on my own in another way. Okay. Almost there, folks. This is the usual behind the scenes stuff that other podcasters don't have the balls to show you. They only show you the spicy, refined stuff. I show you all the boring stuff. All right. 100 billion. It does have a max supply. So, man, I'm learning so much. But it's like I'm trying to put a puzzle together, but I'm also, the puzzle pieces are covered with dust. So I got to brush a puzzle piece off to be like, okay, that's that. So Kronos has a max supply of 100 billion. XRP has a max supply of 100 billion. Holy shit, here we go. Here's the question. Here we go. Wait. Oops. That's staking or airdrops. That's not that. Um, I'm gonna leave this post here because so man, I don't know what to do with this. Um, Crow has a total supply of 100 billion. XRP has a total supply of 100 billion. Let's just do it. Watch this. This is dumb. There has to be something with 100 billion. They wouldn't just pick that number. All right, folks, let's take a pause really quick. I will be right back. I'm sorry, babies, I can't help you. Okay. Sorry about that, folks. My chickens are acting up. What do you guys need? Are you pretty, though? Come here. They're pretty. Whoa. What are you doing? They just. What do you need? Is it nap time? You need to go take a nap? You need to take a nap, baby? All right. Dang it, I need all these tabs open. Okay. Make the internet do some work. So anything with a capped supply is deflationary by nature. It's rare, it's limited. There's another word I can't remember that I need that is the buzzword right now. Deflationary. Feel like it starts with an S. Scarce? I think scarce. So when I asked, just randomly which cryptos have 100 billion supply, XRP comes up. And I just confirmed on one of my exchanges that CRO Coin has 100 billion max supply. So that's another puzzle piece brushed off. I don't know where it fits. I don't know what it is. But I think what we're seeing, yeah, it's a perfect analogy, is the pieces. We always knew there was a puzzle. We always knew money is flowing somewhere and doing something. Liquidity is being moved somewhere. Um, all these companies are developing products like financial products, assets, and they're all moving in a direction. They're all doing something, but we couldn't figure it out. Still can't figure it out. But I honestly think I'm brushing some of the puzzle pieces off. Like I said earlier, I'm trying to do a puzzle on a table, but the pieces are covered with dust. So I got to go by one and brush the dust off of the pieces. Then I see kind of what it is. Don't know where it goes, don't know nothing. Boom. I mean, we're doing the edges. That's the infrastructure. That's the treasuries. Broad, the edges of the puzzle are the treasuries. Those are the deep liquidity pools needed for something. They're going to be needed for something. That something is shaping up now to be like DeFi, decentralized finance, DeFi, lending. So right now, these companies are using fixed amount assets and building the maximum amount allowed, which is 19%, into these liquidity pools we're calling treasuries. Evernorth is doing it. Crow was a little ahead of them, but now they just kind of they were running, and then they just stopped. And December 1st, I showed you in the last video, was the last word we got, where they did a CFO and a CEO, which is big. And a couple videos before that, walking through MCGA, I explained how Crypto.com is actually going to take the lead on the Trump Media Group CRO strategy, MCGA. Crypto.com has taken the lead with the majority of the board members, and Crypto.com picks the CEO and a bunch of other things. I mean, I spent a couple of hours going through one of the SEC releases, and I did a pretty good video on that. I took snippets every time there was important, and that was 50 screenshots. So then I tried to condense those down into doing a video, and that was a pretty good video. I might have to repost that because it feels like the time's near for something. You see things positioning. Big companies, the biggest companies in the digital asset world are positioning. Crypto.com worldwide, most regulated, most regulatory compliant crypto exchange worldwide is taking managerial control of MCGA, the Trump Media Group CRO strategy, which has its own validator, which means that's one of the ledgers to make sure that every transaction is accurate. So the MCGA is going to run its own validator, which Crypto.com is going to basically make most of the decisions for by picking the CEO, by picking a lot of the board members, a couple different things I can't remember right now, but I did that video. And then Ripple XRP, some of their dudes broke off. They're starting Evernorth, which is basically the same exact thing, like exactly the same amount of money, but they should actually spend more due to uh, XRP being more expensive. They could actually spend more to get 19%. But here it doesn't mention anything about 19%. So I'll have to look more into that if they because they want to max out at 19% because that's the max you could have legally. So and they're doing and this is a new thing. It's the XRP share over time. Strategy B, which is used to be MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor. You buy theirs, you buy his stock. The stock will go up because it's more valuable, but you'll also get more Bitcoin per share. Like you buy $100 worth of Bitcoin, that's all you have. You buy the stock, 150 or whatever dollars, 180 now, 170. You'll have increased Bitcoin per share over time as he keeps purchasing Bitcoin. And that's what they're doing here. It's a distilling process. And so CRO's going to be doing that. MCGA is going to be distilling the CRO. Evernorth is going to be distilling the XRP so that your share will be worth more of the asset. It's a derivative downstream. So you see things. Oh yeah, so it hasn't even. Wait, it's expected to close in Q1 2026. XOP holder by going public via a merger with SPAC. Expected to close. So I'm going to take a little jump here. So this is speculation. I'll always try to let people know when I jump into speculation mode. Put my aluminum rabbit ears on to increase. You're supposed to wear a tinfoil hat. I'm wearing a tinfoil rabbit ears to increase the signal. Let's go deep end. Cannonball into the deep end with your rabbit ears on. So Armada acquisition, which is rebrand the ticker XRPN. But see, if they were doing it like MCGA, they would already have a ticker. What was its old ticker? Corp 2. It would already have. Yes. XPRC. Oh, Canary Capital Group. So they didn't. What I'm trying to look for now is Armada Corp 2 changing their ticker name already to this. But then they won't change. They'll still be called Armada 2, but they'll change their ticker to this, and they won't become Evernorth or whatever till they close. Because that's how MCGA is doing it. They changed the ticker to MCGA, but they're still called Yorkville Acquisition Corp 2 or whatever. So when the business combination closes, they'll still be MCGA, but then they'll be called Trump CRO Trump Media Group CRO strategy once the business combination closes. Stock price, yeah, right the fuck there. How hard is that? Okay. 1023. Okay. So there has to be some law, or like, I'm not doing coincident, or I'm not doing conspiracies right now. We're still speculating, but not doing conspiracies. I'm just saying that's the same price as oh wow. Oh, 1024. $1.60, $1.50. Yup. What the heck is that? So it's mirroring. Where am I at on this one? Yahoo Finance. Ew, I gotta type it in just to keep it, exactly the same. See, Yorkville Acquisition Corp and and Armada Acquisition Corp. So see, MCGA changed their ticker, make Kronos great again, but it's still a SPAC, a Special Purpose Acquisition Corporation called Yorkville. They changed their ticker. Both of these are treasuries. And where's my days? Where am I at? Let's do year to date. Let's do year to date. 1 year, I mean. Trying to get it up to 60. Whoa, this one cranked a little. I didn't buy it there. I bought it here. Let's see, so there has to be some rule where, but why would there be a rule where $10.60? See, this one went down to 15, so I'm betting this one will go down to 15 soon. And remember, the internet said that these two things, Evernorth and MCGA, have nothing in common, no similarities. Um, which is obviously the opposite of true. They have a ton of similarities, but they're both SPACs. They're both opening around $10. Huh. So this is another piece of the puzzle that I just brushed the dust off the piece. I'm like, huh. Seems like crypto.com and Ripple are both sending out some troops to start treasuries to do the same thing. So these two, I think, are the same thing, different digital asset. But what I'm hoping is, well, let's see what I fear first. I fear like the MCGA is dead in the water. I mean, I don't think so because about a month ago, they named the CEO, Crypto.com did. Well, let's just say MCGA named the CEO and the CFO, so they're making progress. But there's been no news. I haven't checked the SEC filings. Yeah, let's do that for fun. No, I don't want to. We'll do it later. Um, so I'm starting to fear that it's like they're in a holding pattern. They're sitting there holding. So let's get back to this. That's interesting. I shouldn't have closed that. I'll get it later. So yeah, December 1st was theirs. So these, and this is something completely different. This is a stable coin. So, and they both have 100 billion maximum supply. Something is there. Something is there. So, you have, and once again, folks, if you're new to my channel, not a professional, cheapest equipment possible. And with most podcasts, you only see like the 20% where they polished it and they're already done with their research and they're just presenting it. This is the other 80%. This is me doing the research, trying to figure it out, because this is what I like to watch. Just I like to watch the math problem being solved. Like, ooh, I didn't know you could do that. And and it, because I'm inquisitive, and this is like watching somebody do what I'm doing here would spark me on my own thing, and I'd be going down my own rabbit hole. And it's fractals of rabbit holes is what I'm hoping to inspire. Maybe there's nobody out there like me, and they just want the polished shit. But this is the other 80% you don't see, the grinding behind the scenes, which I think is valuable. To watch somebody spend hours going down a rabbit hole and to find out there's nothing there, and then to have to turn around. Oh, but at least you know now. You could scratch that off the map. You know now. Okay. So that's why I'm doing this. 100 billion tokens. That's sticking in my mind. Like, I get it. Like a little nail just scratching at my brain, or a red flag going up. So there's deep liquidity treasuries being set up as through SPACs, both at about $10. Well, let's just ask. Okay. Boom. Now we know. Cool. There's another piece of the puzzle. Brush the dust off that piece. Okay, so SPACs start out at about $10. Oh, I don't like this. Post merger, prices often fall further. Research shows an average of 25%. Ew. Okay, so future self, just realize once the business combination closes, it might get diluted, and ew. All right, so we might get dilution. I think we won't, and if we do, it'll be really short term. So, okay, that's good to know. $10 is the set price, so that there's no conspiracy there. It's just you start a SPAC, you set it at 10. After you close, we'll go to the real price. I was just thinking about a video I did. I did the opening live. It's cool learning, but then you see how silly you were when you don't know something. And a year from now, I'll know how silly I was right now for something that I don't understand. Probably flare like, bro, you should have did this. You would have had extra money now. Oh man, that's super easy. Why didn't I know that? We'll see. So I did a MCGA opening party because I thought the price might skyrocket. I didn't know all SPACs are the same. Mostly the same. Oh, that's hilarious. I was excited. I did like a 6 hour show. I was up at like 3 a.m. Still a good show. Still learned a lot. There was a lot of information, but the crescendo, the whole point of the show was to be there at opening bell and just watch it go to the moon. But it's a SPAC. It doesn't do anything until it closes. But I didn't know back then if it was going to close or not. I was thinking sooner or later, but it turns out later. But Evernorth expected to close Q1. So this is speculation now again. I'm going to say MCGA is expected to close then too. So that's January, February, March. Now, what I've been going back and forth with is, are they waiting for the Clarity Act? I mean, XRP is kind of special because of the SEC lawsuit. It already has clarity. It is definitely not. Definitely is a commodity. Just CRO doesn't have that clarity. So do we need the Clarity Act first? Will Evernorth blast off first and then CRO after that? I kind of don't like that. Like, CRO has a special place in my heart. And MCGA, just like Evernorth, will be actively managed. So okay. So everything they're going to say about Evernorth, all of it so far has been the exact same thing that Trump Media Group CRO Strategy is doing. MCGA, Make Kronos Great Again, is doing the same thing. So I'm going to say that Kronos or MCGA is going to do DeFi yield. That's what the Clarity Act blew up over last couple days. What was that? The January 16th or 15th. Coinbase stepping in, swinging balls on Congress faces, just dropping balls on the faces of all those dumbass Congress members. But it's all a game. It's all a show. It'll pass. We will get yield. This is the future. Uh, it'll go to every industry. Medicine will be on it. Everything. Banks are dead. We're just listening to them whine and cry as they bleed out. Banks are dead. Blockchain is the future. Actual money with value, not fiat loser money. So yeah, uh, I want MCGA to close sooner, but I bet you it's going to close around the same time as this. The only difference is XRP does have clarity already, so it can close. But does it want to be the only one out there? That would make it a target, but that would attract a lot of the liquidity. But without clarity, the liquidity is not flowing yet. The spigot's not turned on for the deep pools of liquidities, 401ks, treasuries, everything. It's behind the dam. And once the Clarity Act passes, boom, everything flows. And I think the Clarity Act will pass. The banks will concede, not all the way. We can't strangle them fast enough. I wish we could, but they're going to have some dumb things in there. They got their demons working for them, like Pelosi and Warren on this time, Elizabeth Warren, Indian Chief Warren, Pocahontas. And but we'll get some concessions. We'll get yield. We'll get interest. We are the banks now. That is a fact. The banks are bleeding in the streets, dying. Don't listen to them. Step over them. Don't step on them. Just step over them. Forget about them. We left them in the past. They are history. Big banks are history. They're going to exist, but they're going to have to use real money now. They're not going to have fractional reserve banking. Blah blah blah. That's my speech. They're going to have to use value-based assets instead of debt-based assets because we're humans and we deserve better than what we've been getting. So I'm going to assume these are one for one the same. And Evernorth and MCGA, they got the same plans. They're in the same position to do the same thing. Different aspects of the financial ecosystem. How would that work? How would that work? Does Ripple have an exchange? No, not that I know of. So as far as I know now, they would still have to use something like Flare. So that's April 2nd, January, March. April 2nd, phase 2 of Flare comes out, which will be. Let's see, XRP is Flare is already using XRP. That's basically the only cryptocurrency digital asset that can be used on Flare right now. April 2nd, more. So see, they're holding as well. So yeah, there's a bunch of planes circling an area, not landing yet. They're just circling. When they close, boom. When MCGA closes, boom, floodgates. But Q1, April, so that's going to be Q2. Maybe it comes out earlier. But little by little, I'm getting a little clarity. And next week should be something. Maybe I'm thinking it's going to be another rug pull. And in that case, then we got to go, because remember, we're going to be shutting down January 30th. Don't forget about your monthly government shutdown, because we didn't fix it last time. We just kicked the can down the road. And we won't fix it this time. We'll just kick the can down the road. Remember that. Unless something weird happens, which I'm hoping for something weird. So we only have a couple days to get to this. Then the news is going to start talking about, oh yeah, it's emergency. The government's going to close, and the Democrats are blah blah blah, and the Republicans are trying to kill rapists, and the Democrats won't like that, and we got to shut the government down until we allow rapists to be in kindergarten classes. Like, whatever the reason, they'll figure out some stupid reason. The CIA mainstream media will say something stupid and how it's an emergency, and we're gonna, if we close the government, you'll kill grandma. Don't forget about that. All your pets will catch on fire if we don't figure this out, and it's your fault, American citizens. This is your fault again. We didn't do our job. So I think there's a huge link between Evernorth and MCGA. Like, not a direct link, but they're shadow mimicking each other. They're doing the exact same thing. And now they're just hovering in a holding pattern, not closing, no news, not too many filings that I know of. I should actually start looking up Evernorth's filings. They're waiting, and I think it's this Clarity Act to get the liquidity. And like, if they kill yields, then there's no purpose for any future. Like, the future, if banks win and we kill yields, the future stops. We never get off this planet. We never become happy. Golden age stops. Everything we struggled, every war that was ever fought, that was a banker's war. But every war that was not a banker's war, which is few, which is zero actually. But every time the bankers lost, that was all Civil War, American independence. All of those is when we defeated the bankers. So every time we defeated the bankers is gonna be for nothing if we can't get yield and if we can't become proper self-custodial banks. And the bankers know that. So I'm actually not worried at all. It's going to happen. I just want to know when. I'm hearing looking like Q1. Flair's saying, let's just look it up to confirm. Let's see if it even knows what I'm talking about. Ooh, it does. Huh? There we go. So it's Firelight. So Firelight branched off of Flare. Maybe it's its own entity linked somehow. I don't know. Early 2026. We're talking Q1, Q2, maybe, beginning of Q2. Will mark a feature complete launch, including full functionality DeFi cover staking layer. Mm-hmm. This phase will activate staking rewards for XRP holders, which are currently inactive. The official launch time phase 2 is planned for 20 with no exact time. I'm here in April, but early 2026. So everything's converging around the next couple months. All these treasuries and holding patterns not closing. The business combination MCGA and Evernorth, which is XRP Ripple offshoot. With that, and the MCGA is crypto.com. They're circling, they're in a holding pattern. Firelight phase 2, early 2026. Something is happening soon. Weeks, months. I'm curious to see how this next week plays out with the Clarity Act. Coinbase, they're going to have to come back to the table. They never left the table, but that's the narrative. The banks are going to have to fold on yield and interest because that's the whole point of the future is we are our own banks. We get the yield now, not these stupid banks. That's the whole point. We can compete with the banks now. We don't need to trust the banks. We haven't trusted the banks for 100 years, but now we don't have to trust the banks at all because we are the banks. We can still interact with them if we want, but we don't have to trust them with our currency, not any longer. We don't even have to use their fake currency. We could use real currency. So I'll keep digging in on this. I learned a couple things today. That 100,000, that's cool. The SPAC was cool. That's cool. 100 billion tokens. (2016) staking rewards, fees, rewards. Okay. For fast, low-cost global payments, primarily used by financial institutions via Ripple. That's what I'm talking about. That's coming. If you do any research, Jake Claver, and anybody, fee discounts. DeFi applications. Love it. We need to get the yield on there. Huh. Yeah. So I want Crow. There's no Crow news now. Crow. It's in a holding pattern. There's no news, but things are funneling. Early 2026, which is where we are right now, January 18th. Things are funneling towards the end of Q1, March, somewhere in March. We have midterms going on. We got Minnesota in full on anarchy, secession terrorism. Like things are funneling. Flare phase 2 happening early 2026. I'm here in April. Evernorth closing for Q1 2026. I'm going to go ahead and guess that MCGA will close around the same time as Evernorth. And I know there seems like there's links between these two. I got to look into that more, try to find some links. Get Crow onto Flare. We don't need that right now. I'm missing a couple bits of information. We don't need that right now. But for some reason, you can't stake XRP. And I can't remember why. Yeah, that's okay. Last question, then I'm out of here. Well, that's interesting. So it doesn't have the proof of stake. It uses the Ripple protocol consensus. Gotta look into that. Firelight is coming early. SPACs are $10. I like that. Oh shoot! I'll get that question again. That's the 20%. We got that. XPRN, we got that. Q1, we got that. Clarity, we'll get rid of that. There's your word, interoperability. We'll keep that. Proof of authority. So that's not saying proof of stake. That's a no. Oh, fuck. No so vote. No novos. Voso no so votro. Whatever. Mine ours. Financials included. Here we go. I like that. So a lot of Crow isn't even circulating yet. This is good. Whoever broke this down. Brave. XRP's potential for explosive growth if regulatory clarity is achieved. Yep. High upside in DeFi, that's coming due to strong developer support. EVM, that's Ethereum, something to do with Ethereum. Those user base. That's interesting. Choose XRP for institutional payments. CRO for retail driven innovation. Huh. Well, I knew institutional payments. That's the rails of global financial is what I think XRP is going to be used for, and they have the scalability and all that we just saw. Okay. Well, I think that about covers the deep dives. We found a couple good little puzzle pieces today. That's good. Get this jerk out of here. Genius act. All right, folks. We're gonna call that good for now. Thanks for joining. I love you, and let's keep digging. Do some deep dives of your own, and let me know what you find. I'm real interested to see. So there's something with CRO, the MCGA Treasury, and the Evernorth Treasury. There's something there. I'm trying to figure that part out. I didn't turn the camera on, did I? I didn't even turn the camera on. Whatever. All right, folks. Love you. Bye.